It's the culmination of the Catholic High School Football League season, and friends and family members are here to see their sons here play for the last time in high school. It's their last competitive football game, but it's also bragging rights on the line, as it is the New York City seniors against the Island seniors, all right here for the 2025 CHSFL Senior Bowl. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Dylan Butler alongside Thomas Gamba. For Thomas, this should be a fun one, right? For some of these guys, maybe their last football game, but others, they'll go on and play collegiately. But last time to play with friends, even with rivals, right? And certainly a lot of bragging rights here as well.
It definitely is, Dylan. And it's just a great event for all these players, whether they are going to play in college or this is their last competitive football game, just to put the icing on the cake of their high school careers, play with some of their friends, play with some of their rivals even, and that bragging right aspect of it makes it a lot more fun. And the one thing I'm going to be looking for, Dylan, today, the celebrations. They go all out for these celebrations, and I'm excited to see what we got in store today.
Yeah, these teams have practices, and I feel like more so than putting plays in, I think it's about the coordinated celebrations for both of these teams. So it is City. You see it there on the bottom of your screen. They're wearing the navy or the blue, if you will, and the Island is in white. So it's New York City with the ball first from their own 20, and it's a handoff up the middle. And I think that was Kevin Gum for Monsignor Farrell. What a season he had leading the Lions to the title game.
Unbelievable year. Over 1,000 rushing yards, Dylan. 15 touchdowns on the ground, 12 receptions, 124 yards, and a score. Monsignor Farrell, what a year they had, falling just short to Iona Prep in the AAA championship game.
Yeah, they handed Iona Prep their only regular season defeat. That's John Smith trying to run it up the middle from Archbishop Stepanak. Now, a little bit if you're confused, it's not just like New York City versus the Island. I think a good way for people to kind of grasp on who's on what team. If you are on Team Long Island, if you go from St. John the Baptist and West Islip all the way out to the last eligible player, you're not paying a toll, right? The other side, you're paying lots of tolls, right?
Yeah.
You've got the Midtown or whatever, if you are for Xavier. You're crossing the Throgs Neck to get up to Iona or Stepanak. You're going Verrazano Bridge for the boys from Staten Island. So that's at least a good way, I think, to kind of think about how these teams are formulated today, as it's another run there by Gum.
And Dylan, because of all the schools that are in this event, got so much talent on the field. We saw Gum with a couple nice runs, John Smith as well. We're going to see a lot of different combination of players coming in. And a thing I find interesting about this game, both these teams only practiced this past week, and they've already got an offense implemented, obviously the celebration, so we'll see how they perform today.
Dropping back to pass, our first pass attempt, it looks like. Dumped across this way. That's Colin Ballantyne from Fordham. It was kind of a part of a bit of a 1A, 1B rotation, but emerged in the second half of the season. Strong arm as well for Ballantyne.
Yeah, he worked his way up throughout the year, Dylan, as you mentioned. Doesn't have the greatest arm, but he has great ball placement. That time it wasn't the best throw, but he was under pressure. Tough situation for him. And he has a great grasp of the offense. He knows it inside out throughout this season for Fordham Prep. And I'm interested to see how he's going to perform today.
That's the other thing that makes it good for us broadcasters, Thomas, is that it is their high school helmets. So that helps kind of figure out who is who, as that one as a short gain. Wanted to shout out the defender there.
I think that was Liam Trainer.
Yeah.
Saw that Chaminade red out there for the Flyers. Trainer, a Fairfield lacrosse commit. He's really fast at that linebacker position, playing in Coach Thomas Elder's Chaminade defense that's really improved over the last 2 years since head coach Tom Claro has gotten there. They've been led by their defense, and the Flyers went out strong this year, defeating Stepanak in the quarterfinals of the AAA playoffs. Unfortunately for them, losing to Monsignor Farrell in the semifinals.
One thing you'll note as well, it's a little bit of like a soccer clock, if you will, running clock here in the Senior Bowl. So a 3rd down and about 7. Ballantyne finds his intended target, and that's a 1st down for the City, pointing that direction. You see Alex Houston, from Monsignor Farrell.
Yeah, another Monsignor Farrell Lion getting involved. Houston, a 3-year varsity player, a 2-way starter, 5 touchdowns on the year, also has a rushing touchdown, great speed, really good player, and you see it there. Nice route, comeback route there to create separation, and a 1st down for the City team.
Yeah, right from midfield. This is the first possession of this game. Another handoff coming this way, trying to round the corner, and a big hit was laid down. We'll show that one again, Thomas. Let's see who had that.
That was Dominic Witt, number 48. Wow, look at this. He puts the shoulder down, and boom. Wow, what a hit.
Yeah, Witt out of St. John the Baptist.
2nd down and 4.
73 tackles on the season, 12 for losses, a couple of sacks as well for the Bayport senior.
And he laid the lumber there. Wow, what a hit.
Interior handoff, fumble, and it's the Island who recover. How about DJ Garcia fire up the turntables for the senior from St. Anthony's?
How about that? Great penetration on the inside, and let's see who that is. Couldn't get the number on who forced the fumble, but wow, what a play. And Team Long Island takes over here.
So Long Island's ball from their own 46-yard line. You've got Flyers and Friars together, Terriers and Knights. What a world we live in.
Unbelievable. Would have never expected that.
First pass goes to one of several Terriers on this team.
That was Rocco Petronella, Dylan, who had a great season for St. Francis Prep. 4 touchdowns on the year, 560 receiving yards, was the lead receiver for St. Francis Prep this year.
Handoff on 2nd down. A short gain for Amir Isaac out of Nazareth.
We're going to see, as I mentioned, Dylan, a lot of different guys shuffling in here. We got 3 St. Francis Prep wide receivers out there to start the game. We just saw Isaac with the carry from Nazareth out of Queens, 5'9", 185.
And the QB1, at least for this drive, it's Daniel Liccardi. Look out, pressure comes from behind, and Liccardi sent hard to the turf.
That was Kevin Cameron from the City team out of the Bronx from Fordham Prep. Nice pressure from the right side, and Liccardi just doesn't see him from the blind side, and an easy sack there for the City team.
And the City here forced to punt, but they've got a good one doing so, don't they?
Yes, they do. Justin Jones, obviously as a Chaminade student, I've seen him punt and kick for years, and this kid's special. He doesn't have the biggest leg like we saw with former Chaminade kicker Timmy Tomlinson, but boy, is he accurate.
He gets one high into the air. Fair catch is called inside the 20, so he does his job as the City comes back out onto the field, and
Fair catch by Nathaniel Cabrera.
no score, 7-13. The clock does stop here in the turn of possessions.
And Dylan, just want to mention something. When both teams are punting, I believe there's a rule, at least there is in the Nassau County Senior Bowl, where you cannot rush the punter because no one wants to get injured here. That's the main important thing. So I don't think they allow them to rush the punter.
And the same is true if there's a PAT or a field goal attempt. So.
Yes. So just something to note here. That's why you didn't see any pressure on Jones.
Yeah, for a second it looked like it was an NFL game there. On a kickoff at least.
Yeah.
As City's second drive starts on their own 15-yard line. It's a handoff. It's the left side. And I believe it was Gum again with the carry.
And Liam Trainer, another tackle. That's his second of the day already. Trainer and this Chaminade defense, as I mentioned, really improved under defensive coordinator Tom Elder, who's currently on the sidelines manning the defense for this Long Island squad.
Interesting there as well. We just saw Gum go out, and we saw Peter Heaney step in. He's the QB, but kind of by title only. Low snap, little sidearm throw, incomplete, coming this way. The intended target, Aiden Howard out of Cardinal Hayes. But for Heaney, he's the QB at Xavier. But as you know, Thomas, they almost exclusively run the football. So you look at his numbers on the season, outrageous. 255 carries, 1,600 yards, 19 touchdowns. And, I mean, what a November he had, right?
Yeah, you think it would be the total opposite with the 19 touchdowns on the throwing side of things and the 1,620 yards, but it's been all through the ground for Peter Heaney. And interesting to see him in at the game at running back.
A little bit of a broken play there was KJ Dillon out of Kennedy Catholic at QB, but he was met by a host of tacklers, which will force New York City here to punt.
That was Anthony Brown and DJ Garcia, and I actually just figured out Brown was the one who forced the fumble last possession, already making another play. This defensive line for Team Long Island has looked good so far, and just something to note here, Dylan, Team MIC won this game last year 21-7, so I'm sure Team Long Island looking for a little revenge here in their senior year.
Yeah, maybe these guys were like, I can't wait to play in that game. Can't wait to get some revenge for some of our former teammates.
For sure. It's definitely a culmination, as we mentioned, of their whole entire 4 years of high school, their whole entire football careers for some of them who are not moving on to college. So it's just a great event for them to play in.
And it's a fun day as well, right? It started, and as you saw on the Varsity Media Sports Network, at Kellenberg High School, which is just across Hempstead Turnpike here, with the Mass and the breakfast honoring so many of the key players, really the key student athletes in this league. And then you kind of you take the suits off and you put the pads on and you head across the Mitchell Athletic Complex for this one.
Yeah, and what people don't understand sometimes about these high school athletes is not only about playing high school football, but it's also about what they do in the classroom. It's really hard to balance both of those things, and all these guys currently standing on the field do an excellent job of that, and it's great that we get to recognize them for their efforts this year.
Now at QB for Long Island, Mo Scott, terrific dual threat quarterback from St. John the Baptist. He'll show off that arm for a completion. Or no, incomplete. It was in the hands, but unable to pull it down.
I think that was Eddie Diaz, the intended target. Look at Nathaniel Cabrera, number 29, breaking up that pass from the Bronx out of Mount St. Michael. Great job there, and it's second down. Cabrera, 5'10", 150 yards, an interception on the year. Fumble recovery, 26 tackles.
Just a handoff up the middle, but look at the stout defense by NYC. It is hard to run up the middle with some of those big boys.
That's Kamari Ginyard, number 30, from Yonkers, Archbishop Stepanak product. And both these defensive lines have looked good so far. Not a lot going for both these offenses, and already seen 3 punts, fumble.
Yeah, Ginyard, 65 tackles on the year, 10 for losses. All 10 for losses, the sack for Ginyard. So trips left for New York City. Scott flushed out, looks for options, slings it, finds an intended target, and a big play there for the Island.
That's Henry Peterson, number 11. Took a big role in the Chaminade offense this year after Brady Murray got hurt. And a great job by Scott. Realizes the pressure, rolls to his right, buys a little time, and hits Peterson, who gives him that open target, moving to the far sideline. It's a first down for Team Long Island.
Yeah, Hank Peterson, great size, 6'4", 205 out of Wantagh, 24 receptions on the year for 265 yards. Pretty good out of a guy who also has to block a lot.
Oh, and he is a very, very good blocker. Originally started the year as a pure blocking tight end, then with Murray getting hurt, grew into that receiving type as well.
Scott out of shotgun, scampers the opposite way. And that's that athletic ability that we mentioned from Mo Scott. Looked like it was even a broken play, right? He was coming our way, reversed it, and got a nice chunk of yards on that.
We'll talk about making something out of nothing there. Scott, a guy with great speed, 107 carries in the year, over 1,000 rushing yards. He makes 2 guys miss in the backfield and gains about 4 or 5 yards to make it second and manageable here for Team Long Island.
Yeah, from the 8.
And after that third down conversion, you could sense a little difference in the mojo, if you want to call it, of Team Long Island. Their offense here, they're flowing a little bit, and that's purely because of the athleticism that Scott is showing here early.
I like what you did there, because you said they have Mojo with Mo Scott at QB. Scott does hand it off. Turning the corner, rounding it in. Touchdown, Long Island.
And here's the best part, the celebration. That's Antoine Williams out of Holy Cross, a guy who's more known as that power running back, but he goes to the right side here, uses his speed, and cuts the corner for 6 as Team Long Island takes the first lead in this Senior Bowl.
However, Antoine Williams wanted no part. He's just like, hand the ball off, running back to his sideline, all business for Antoine. So no elaborate celebration there for the Island, but a nice run around the corner for the senior from Hempstead. Great dual threat as well, right? 4 touchdowns in the receiving and 4 on the ground as well. The PAT is up, and it is good. We got to give shout-outs as well, right, to the kickers. That's Evan Phillipson out of Zavarian. And another look, Thomas, on that touchdown.
And again, Williams just using his speed to the outside. Very nice block by Nick Nielsen, number 67 from Kellenberg. And then you got a little celebration here, right? Declan Miller giving a little push up to Antoine Williams. He did that a lot with Anthony Trapani, so I guess it carries over here to his Team Long Island running back.
But I'm like you. I'm like, are they going to row the boat?
Yeah.
Are they going to, like,
well, that's the good
all fall, like drop the ball?
Maybe they're saving it for later. We don't know. We don't know. We got to wait and see, and then we could evaluate. But little underwhelmed after that celebration. I think we could have seen more.
But good job by Mo Scott orchestrating that drive, and Long Island getting on the board, taking a 7-0 lead here in the CHSFL Senior Bowl. A minute 34 left in the first quarter. This is a returnable kick from the 11-yard line. About a 20-yard return at that. So let's see who New York City has coming out. They have a trio of quarterbacks, but as you mentioned, Heaney, listen, he has thrown it more than maybe Xavier quarterbacks in the past. But you've also got KJ Dillon, who we saw, Colin Ballantyne on the first possession.
Yeah, again, same thing with Team Long Island. It's going to be interesting to see who comes in at what time, what combination of players come in. They're going to be rotating guys throughout. They want to get everyone playing time. Just have some fun. That's the main important thing in this game, and looks like both teams are having a blast so far.
I want to shout out a couple of the guys up front that I noticed there in that huddle. Tom Costello from Farrell, his Farrell teammate as well. Dom Sparola, part of the O-line right now, as they go back to Ballantyne, and his pass attempt for Aiden Howard was incomplete.
Colin Ballantyne, I think this is the second drive we're seeing him so far, Dylan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
you are correct.
All right, so Fordham Prep guy from Manhattan, 5'10", 160. Guy that could use his legs, but he's also got that nice arm, as we saw to the outside there. Couldn't hit Howard, but he can really put some velocity on that ball.
And apparently we are into the second quarter. That's how quickly things move here. As it's a run up the middle, Kevin Gum again.
We mentioned Gum's special season for Monsignor Farrell. 15 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air for the Lions, who went undefeated in league play in the regular season, fell to Iona Prep in the championship 42-21, but Gum, a captain, a workhorse type running back, so special for Monsignor Farrell this year.
I got to check, Thomas. I don't know. What time did the Bills play? Because Chris Hardwick, the league president's a big Bills fan. I mean, maybe he's trying to rush things along here to watch.
I guess so.
Watch the Bills. Look at this run up the middle again. And all those things you just mentioned were on display there by Gum, right? The workhorse. You know, a lot of times running backs kind of want to get outside the tackles. He's going right through the middle. Well,
yeah, he's a guy that's just going to put his head down, get those yards after contact, and a great job by that offensive line of Team NYC. Got multiple big boys, as Dave Gettleman, the former GM of the Giants, used to call it, the hog mollies up front, making a nice big hole for Gum to run through, and just easy work for him and a first down.
So apparently the Bills are playing right now. Trying to cut it around the corner, and nice scamper to the outside.
That was Gianni Pasqualone from Staten Island, another Monsignor Farrell guy. And Dylan, actually, the Bills are losing right now to the Bengals, so maybe he wants to get this game over with so he can catch the fourth quarter. I don't know, but there was not even a stoppage. It just went all the way to the second quarter.
Yeah, but Pasqualone, we weren't sure how many guys we'd see on different sides of the ball, but we had him pegged as a D-back, certainly a two-way guy for Farrell. Hand off, look at Gum again. Kevin Gum! He will not be caught. Touchdown, NYC. Oh, here we go.
There's the celebration we want to see. Looks like a little Amon-Ra St. Brown celebration right there. Awesome from Kevin Gum, and what a run, just turning on the Jets as he gets into the second level, and Team NYC is on the board.
Yeah, another look at him, just right there. That's when he kind of knew, right?
Oh, yeah.
Touchdown.
Once he got around one defender, he was gone. Green grass ahead, and you're not going to catch a guy that had 15 touchdowns on the ground, over 1,300 yards. Special season for him, as we mentioned, and showing why here.
Now it's Luke Harvey on for the PAT out of Stepinac, and Harvey's kick is up, and it is good. What a year for Harvey as well. How about 26 for 26 on PATs, 4 of 4 on field goals, and he is perfect here as well in their Senior Bowl. Let's take a look. We didn't get a chance to do this before. We thought you would do it when they changed quarters, but lo and behold, they did it on the fly. So a little look here, Thomas, at the New York City roster, at least page 1 of it.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys on this roster, so it's going to take us time, multiple pages to get through all these guys, but a lot of different guys from different schools, a combination of players that we'll see throughout the day, and a lot of talent, whether it's through the offensive side, the defensive side, special teams as well, multiple guys going off to play in their college ranks. But again, this one, the icing on the cake of these guys' high school careers, and it's just great to see that they get to play in an event like this, have some fun like Kevin Gum and the rest of the guys did on that celebration. Really cool. And look at it again.
Yeah, they're right away. They're like, please get out of the way. We have to celebrate this one.
It's Aiden Howard helping out Gum there, and that was definitely planned in practice.
Oh, no doubt.
There should, I feel like in these practices, I've never been to one, but there has to be one day where Coach Claro or the coaching staff for Team NYC is just like, all right, guys, we're going to practice our celebrations today.
You think that's a whole practice?
They might need them. Listen, they go all out for these celebrations. I don't know.
I feel like at least there's probably some sort of a group text.
Yes.
And then listen, last 5-10 minutes of practice, let's figure out what we're going to do here.
Yeah. Nice tackle there. Jakari Silva, number 41 from Cardinal Spellman.
Now, what we're not seeing a lot of, understandably, right, are Iona Prep seniors. They had just run the gamut. What a tough season they had. Physical season they went on and won, of course, the league title. Going back-to-back again as state champions as well. So understandably, as you see the bracket here in the AAAs, and you mentioned Farrell on that last Friday night home game against Chaminade, big win there. Surprisingly, lopsided semifinals. Was a terrific final. We had that for you on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and it was Iona avenging that home defeat, beating Monsignor Farrell to go back-to-back as champs.
Yeah, what a win that was for the Gales. You mentioned it. Monsignor Farrell won round 1, but Iona Prep won the one that meant more, round 2. And they really just dominated it throughout. A whole team effort, whether it was on the offensive side, the defensive side. Didn't let Gum kill them on the offensive side for Monsignor Farrell, and then they just held down the fort and got to the New York State Championship, defeated St. Francis in that state championship, and went back-to-back, as you mentioned.
And we saw some of their lead guys earlier today that we had on the Varsity Media Sports Network get some big awards. Crew Davis, the Offensive Player of the Year. As this is Terrence Watson kicking it to the outside from Zavarian. We also saw Mamadou Sangare as well get a big award. So they were here, they were on the island. But listen, when you play the kind of schedule that you do for Iona, and as physical as a season it is, obviously these guys are pretty banged up by the time they get to the finish line.
Yeah, let me tell you something about Crew Davis. He is special. A two-sport athlete, plays lacrosse, also plays football, committed to the University of North Carolina, and I'm sure Bill Belichick is going to love having him in the offense next year.
So 3rd and 1 here for Team Long Island. And Watson again calls his own number and uses that size, turns for a first down. Gets a little bit of a tush push as well, but 6 foot 220 out of the quarterback position. Gets a nice first down for Long Island.
He is a big guy, Dylan, and he loves to run the football. 10 touchdowns on the year through the ground, and you see it here. Keeps it himself, nice read, makes 2 guys miss, and then backpedals for an extra 3 or 4 yards to move the chains. Then you got the little push. You got Nick Nielsen in there, number 67, Declan Miller as well on that offensive line, helping his guy out.
Hey, Watson's used to this field, right? Played here in the AA2 championship game as it's Isaac, again, trying to cut around the corner, got tripped up, but it was Zavarian beating Holy Cross in the AA2 title tilt here at Mitchell.
Yes, I was doing that game with Kevin Dolan. Lot of fun, lot of fun. Zavarian got the win over Holy Cross, and Watson was a big reason because of it, not only with his arm, but because of what he could do on the ground. And Zavarian really dominated that game throughout. I believe the final score 21-7, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we do have the brackets. We could even show it here after the next play, as it is a 2nd and 9 with Watson at a shotgun. Drops back to pass. Look out. Pressure comes from the outside. Ducks under it. And now powers forward. A nice gain because, again, there was a dangerous defender. And there you see the AA2 bracket. And as you said, 21-8, you were off by a point.
Yeah, all right, I got close. But 21-8 was the score. Zavarian really dominated that one. But going back to that last play, Kevin Cameron, once again with the pressure. He had a sack earlier on the last drive for Team Long Island. But Watson using that escapability, moving upfield, up the gut, and gaining 6 or 7 yards to make it 3rd down.
Yeah, 3rd and about 3. Watson shows off the arm and in and out of the hands. That would have been complete to Cameron Roque out of Christ the King.
That was a pass that definitely could have been completed. Roque was wide open. Watson put it in the breadbasket, but Roque just couldn't hang on, and now Justin Jones on to punt it away for Team Long Island.
And you wonder, I don't know if maybe not now, but Listen, you're out here to have fun, right? So you wonder if there's maybe at some point here a fake. Not here, though, as Jones doesn't get much on that one as it's fielded at about the 46. Let's see if we could pop up the New York City, no, sorry, the Long Island roster, right? We showed you the city roster before. Here's a look at Long Island. This is what we said before, right? It's Long Island, it's Queens, Brooklyn as well, but a terrific representation from the collective Catholic High School Football League.
It definitely is. And the thing that jumps off the page to me, we got Chaminade guys and St. Anthony's guys as teammates. This is the craziest thing that God has ever created. It is insane. We got rivals playing as friends here in this game, and it's pretty cool to see all these guys coming together, just trying to have fun, work collectively for bragging rights, if you may, but just, again, ending their senior seasons on a high note.
What's that line from Ghostbusters? Cats and dogs, friends together, something along those lines. Our Chris Sweeney, who does everything here for us, I'm sure he'll pull that one up as at QB, KJ Dillon out of Kennedy Catholic. Good year for KJ on the year. Threw for 1,400 yards, 19 touchdowns. Human sacrifices, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. That was the quote we were looking for. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, Dillon, as you mentioned, KJ Dillon had a great year. 20 touchdowns combined through the air and through the ground. 136 yards on the ground, 35 carries. As you saw there, a nice 5 or 6 yard run.
Yes, I think we just saw the 2-minute warning from the officials. So we are about 3 minutes off on our game clock, which has been running, I feel like, the entire time. There we go. Even faster time in this one, as doesn't get much faster, though, than Kevin Gum, as
oh, yes.
He's got the touchdown for NYC and had that carry as well.
Yeah, and Antoine Williams on the other side for Team Long Island. He showed the speed to the far sideline near the end zone, and we've seen a lot of action here in the first half. A lot of punts, great defense being played, but a lot of big plays as well.
Another handoff, and Gum kicks it to the outside. And that's the other part of what makes his game so special, right, is nothing doing up the middle, bounces it to the outside for a first down.
He's so patient, just looking to find his hole. Basically stands behind his offensive lineman here to the left and then bounces it to the outside. Use that speed to get an extra 5 yards on that sideline. And Team NYC with a first down.
It bounced basically right into his Farrell teammate, A.J. Lombardi. A guy who moved from right guard a year ago, great offseason. Has dreams of playing college football as well. And Pasqualoni tries to get around the outside and does just that.
So you go from one Farrell guy to another. Pasqualoni, he's turning on the Jets to the far side, and another first down for Team NYC. They're really rolling here on the offensive end.
Yeah, but let's see if they can get in to the end zone. 47 seconds on the clock, a static clock, I think. I think you play in the final 2 minutes, more regular time, if you will, where you have stoppages instead of the running time.
Dylan, just want to make a correction here. They say 2nd and 1, gain of 9 for Pasqualoni on the previous play.
Ooh, fumble. It was going to Gum. And big 78.
That's Luca Collado from Holy Cross scooping it up. Just misplacement at the mesh point. Dylan tries to hand it to Gum, and it just falls out of his hands and right into the midst of Luca Collado, who pounces on that. And Team Long Island with the stop, they get the ball back.
It won't get any easier for Collado out of Flushing. 54 tackles, 14 for losses, 5 sacks. And probably 25 years from now, as he tells the story, you know, we were in the Senior Bowl, great team on the other side. I had to break 2 different guys who were blocking me. I dove at the ball. I wrestled for it and won it. I mean, unfortunately, probably his children or grandkids could watch this on Varsity Meeting and be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
All you did was fall on it.
Well, hopefully for him, they won't look it up, hopefully. And they'll just think he's being truthful there, but pretty easy play for him. Still had to make it with a bouncing ball, and now Team Long Island's got possession.
Yeah, Jack Leary now at QB, St. Francis Prep. A lot of those Terrier helmets out here, so familiar guys to find as receivers.
And speaking of a familiar guy to find, that's Sean Ibert, number 27, dual threat running back, can do it in the air, on the ground. Spectacular season for him with the Terriers. 7 touchdowns on the ground, 517 rushing yards, and 593 receiving yards for 11 scores, as we have a timeout here on the field with 26 seconds to play in the first half.
And the Terriers, they might have had to take the big bus here to Mitchell. You've got Ibert and Diaz and Santos, so 3 different running backs, all part of it, and then also a host of receivers as well. Petronelli, you shouted out before with a reception. You've got Hayden Mueller's a tight end as well. So, and also I could, Victor Landaverdi on the O-line.
And Cameron Roque as well, number 84. Saw him have an opportunity earlier this game.
All right, so off the timeout, let's see if we got something special here dialed up. Final 26 seconds of a fast-moving first half. Oh, look out. Leary never saw the truck. That is Elias Murray out of Archbishop Stepanak.
He came in that pocket like a cannon, blowing through the block, and Leary had no chance. Gobbled up by Murray. 4 sacks on the year, make it 5 there as he makes a nice play, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, Murray 6'1", 270. So a 3rd and 9 for the Island. Or are they saying that's the half?
Let's see here. I think so. Doesn't look like either team is huddling up here. Team Long Island has moved to their sideline, along with Team NYC.
So I guess we'll take the break, however long it may be. You're watching the Catholic High School Football League Senior Bowl, and Kevin Gum is going for the end zone. Big touchdown for the Farrell Senior, as we are tied here at Mitchell Athletic Complex.
What's up, it's Sean Lights Out Merriman, former Charger and Bill, and you're watching Varsity Media.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
And here he comes again, off the backboard! Are you serious?
Daly tries another 3, that one's good. One from the left corner, now from the right. Daly's on fire with 10 points in the opening quarter.
Loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly. Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash. What a way to end the 3rd quarter.
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves.
For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media. Hey parents, coaches, and players. Ever wonder what makes Varsity Media stand out as the tri-state leader in sports live streaming and videography?
If you're looking to optimize your sporting event, look no further than Varsity Media's coverage. Since working with them over the course of the past 4 years through the Elite 5 New York City Football Showcase, their coverage has helped take us to the top.
Varsity Media does an unbelievable job in terms of the broadcast, backgrounds on kids, do a great job of exposure from top to bottom. I couldn't really say anything negative. It's been a great couple of years that we've been working together, and it's just fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you, the fact that you guys are here has helped grow it, really. I mean, Varsity Media has been a good partner with us now for the last couple of years. That brings this game to a much broader audience.
The level of detail and that you go to, I mean, obviously the announcers, the camera angles, the slow motions, I mean, you feel like it's being covered by, ESPN.
If you'd like to book with Varsity Media, reach out at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
You've seen the dedication, the long hours, the early mornings, the sacrifice. You know your athlete has what it takes, but how do you make sure the right people see it? The recruiting process isn't easy. Coaches are flooded with highlights, but how do you stand out in the crowd? At Varsity Media, we specialize in creating game-changing ISO videos, high-definition, athlete-focused footage that highlights exactly what college recruiters want to see. With our up-close ISO video, we capture your athletes' key moments. No more wide angles showing other players. This is just your athlete's pure, raw talent. This is more than a video. This is the opportunity your athlete deserves. Give your athlete the edge they need. Make the right impression with Varsity Media's ISO video service. The future starts now.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
It's Merrill. Oh, look at a fake by Merrill. There's the spin again. Gary Merrill is not human. Touchdown, St. Anthony. Profeta! 1-0, Garden City.
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves.
He's got room to go. Merrill towards the end zone. Lost his lid. Touchdown!
JJ Damo, face on, stay on athlete. Controlling the face-off. That's 3 in a row now.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports.
Back here at Mitchell Athletic Complex, Dylan Butler, Thomas Gamba. It is the Catholic High School Football League Senior Bowl, and we head to the second half, tied at 7.
Dylan, it was a lot of fun in the first half. Saw some big plays. Kevin Gum with that huge touchdown run. Antoine Williams had a score. Couple fumble recoveries for Team Long Island. But it's been a battle in the trenches, and the defensive lines on both sides have looked really good. The offense is not doing too much, and see if that continues here in the second half.
And I feel like when you have these all-star games and you have limited practices, it's the defense, I think, that has the edge, right? Because
they definitely do, yeah.
With a receiver and a quarterback, you're not on the same page, and especially if you have any little bit of a complicated offense, it's just trying to figure out all the misdirection or things like that. So,
well, it's so hard for an offense to get acclimated in just a short week like these guys have practiced, so it's hard for them to get on the same page and things like that. Definitely advantage defense.
And this one is fielded at the 10-yard line. Nice return up this sideline. Nearly a 30-yard return there, Thomas.
That's Ken Brasfield Daly out of Holy Cross. Had a nice season for the Knights. As I mentioned earlier, I called the AA2 championship game with Kevin Dolan, and he performed well throughout the season. 26 receptions, 512 yards, 6 touchdowns. Also had a carry for a touchdown, 9 carries on the year, 68 yards and a score.
I thought they were all supposed to be friends here, but he ripped the ball out of a Terrier's hand there.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. They're still rivals in a way, but I guess for now they're friends. But good job there.
Yeah, I kid, of course, but
yeah,
great return there as New York City here with the ball from midfield. Looks like it's Jack Leary back in at QB. Leary quick out. And a nice gain there on first down. Looked like he found
Hayden Mullers.
Hayden Mullers, yeah, his tight end. The senior out of Whitestone. 14 receptions, 242 yards, and a touchdown on the year.
And a big target is Mullers. He could find the open spaces in that defense and gives Leary good safety blanket to go to whenever he wants to.
Leary out of Beach Channel, the grandson of the legendary Tim Leary, longtime St. Francis Prep basketball coach. And Leary airs it out. Jump ball, interception.
That's Naeem Hardy out of Archbishop Stepinac. Leary just tossed up a prayer, and Hardy, like a center fielder, moves to his right. Good job initially by Leary, stepping away from the pressure, but Hardy leaps around Mullers, gets hit in the face, and still makes the catch. What a play, looking like a receiver out there, and it's Team NYC ball.
Hardy, 3 picks in the regular season. How about also 69 tackles on the year for the Crusaders?
And for a guy who's only 5'8", jumping up and making that catch over Hayden Mullers, who's a big tight end, what a play. And now the Team NYC offense back out there looking to take this lead.
I think it's Ballantyne again in at QB. Hands off to Gum. Why not? Gets a nice push from the O-line up front, gets out to the 30-yard line.
Gum so electric. We saw that big touchdown run in the first half. He could do a lot in the backfield, and you got Gianni Pasqualoni as well. Another Monsignor Fowl running back coming in here.
What you like there, too, is you talk about, at least being on the same page. He ran behind Munir Abushi and Dom Spatola, 2 of his offensive linemen at Monsignor Farrell.
Yeah, it's good when you have guys who are on the same team playing in the Senior Bowl. You're kind of on the same page in a way, especially if you're a running back and you're an offensive lineman. Easy job there for Gum.
Toss right, and it's to Pasqualoni, another fumble, and he does recover.
Boy, was that dangerous there. A pitch play by Ballantyne to Pasqualoni. He couldn't handle it, then kind of danced around it for a little, allowed Team Long Island to get some pressure on him, but luckily for him, he pounced on top of that, and Team NYC gets around losing their 3rd fumble of the game.
And this backs them up to the 20. They've got to get to the 35-yard line for a first down.
Long way to go here. Definitely a passing situation for Colin Ballantyne and this offense.
And if you're wondering, Gum is an option there as well. 12 receptions, 124 yards, and a score. Ballantyne, look out. Pressure comes from behind, and he is sacked.
That's DJ Garcia again, the lineman from St. Anthony's, and he's got a little Dexter Lawrence celebration out there. Nice swim move on that left side of the defensive line and just chases Ballantyne and gobbles him up for the sack.
Yeah, DJ was great for the Friars this year. The senior out of Lindenhurst, 38 tackles, 6 for losses, a sack and an INT as well. Not bad for a guy in the D-line.
And you see the athleticism, getting around the edge on the left side at 250 pounds and using that speed to take down Ballantyne for the sack.
And a fair catch called at about the 46-yard line. So let's see who will take the lead here. New York City has good field position to do so. And just judging here by that last conversation is Daniel Licari plays his football across the street at Kellenberg.
And Dylan, he started the game at quarterback, so see him here again.
Good year for Licari. Completed 56% of his passes, nearly 1,400 yards, 8 touchdowns, ran for a touchdown as well. This one a handoff, and look at the burst up the middle. Benedict Santos out of St. Francis Prep.
Talk about the misdirection. I couldn't even see who had the ball at first. It looked like Licari kept it, but then Santos, comes out of the pack with the ball, and a nice 13-yard gain on first down to move the sticks.
Yeah, Santos just 5'9", but you see 170, and tough guy when he hits that hole. Tough to take him down. Ooh, look out, ball on the turf. Licari at least doesn't get hit for a loss. But that's also what we're talking about, right? Where it's hard to be on the same page with your center and with others as well in the offense.
Yeah, because of the short week of practice, you're not really getting acclimated with your teammates unless you've played with them at your high school this past season. Licari can't handle the snap there. It makes something out of nothing. And a nice tackle from behind by Josiah Howard, number 66 out of Cardinal Hayes. Makes it 2nd down and 8.
A lot of Hayes representation in this game. Wasn't a season that they had hoped for in the AAA, but always nice to get a Turkey Bowl win to end the year. There's a handoff and nice run to the outside. It's Isaac, and he'll have a 1st and goal. Listed as a QB, but you see the athleticism from Amir Isaac.
Boy, did he show it there. Look at this. He gets to the 2nd level. Whoop, see you later. And the speed turned on at the 20-yard line. Nice blocks downfield. He got Sean Powers on the outside, stalk blocking the receiver out of Chaminade there. And then Amir Isaac inside the 5 makes it 1st and goal.
So you got Isaac and Santos as your running back options along there with Licari. It's Licari, calls it himself, pushes forward, but he has sent backwards there at about the 2-yard line.
These are the hardest situations in football. You got 1 yard to go. You know this is a running situation most likely. You got to find some way to get in the end zone. Licari at first got a nice gain. Then he gets pushed back. So now it's 2nd and goal from the 2. See if Team Long Island can punch this in and take the lead.
Looks like that was, want to shout out Daniel Mills out of St. Peter's. He had the tackle on that play. 33 tackles on the year, 9 for loss, 8 sacks as well for Mills. So 2nd and goal. Handoff, Isaac scampers in for the touchdown. What's the celebration? I thought we would get it.
This looks like it's going to be a lot better than the first one for Team Long Island. Got a little duck, duck, goose out there as Isaac, after the big run earlier in the drive, punches it in, and Team Long Island has the lead.
Not bad for a guy who's laces are loose there.
More misdirection. Nice fake by Lakari. Thought he was throwing a pass there, but he handed it off to Isaac, and he dances in for the touchdown.
So Phillipson on for the PAT. Again, the senior out of Zavarian, perfect on the year in all kicking situations. PATs, field goals, continues to be so. So he gives Long Island the 14-7 lead. As we take a look at the celebration. Oh, look out. It's good that you are at least, if you're Kenneth Brassfield Daly, you're at least one of the ones on the ground.
Yes, thankfully. And
so he blows a tire, but still.
Originally, Amir Isaac sat on the ground, then he got up, and he was the one starting the Duck Duck Goose game.
So even when it's not exactly perfect, it still works out well on the celebration.
Any celebration is good in this game. It just got to be quality is how we judge things, and that was definitely a lot better than the first one.
So it's 14-7 now for Long Island. We'll get that changed for you momentarily at the bottom of your screen. I like, too, what Long Island is doing here. You're kind of splitting up the kicking duties, right? Phillipson doing the PATs and perhaps a field goal attempt. And, you know, you want to have both kickers involved there as well. And
yeah, you want to get everyone involved in this game for sure. Another nice return, by the way, by Nathaniel Cabrera. He's made a couple nice plays on the special team side of things, had a pass breakup earlier in the game. Nice performance for him today.
And we've seen Justin Jones handle the punting and the kickoff duty as well.
Yeah, that's right. And Evan Phillipson, as you mentioned, perfect on the year in all kicking situations. He's 2 for 2 on PATs today.
And of course, I just thought of it because he had kicked here in that AA2 championship game.
That's right. His Zavarian team won.
Yeah, used to these goalposts. Here's KJ Dillon. Nothing doing for KJ.
Nice play. Chaminade defensive lineman Joe Chavis out of Massapequa Park. 57 tackles on the year. 2 fumble recoveries, 3 sacks, an interception. Done a really great job for Chaminade this past year. Huge down the stretch in big-time games.
What a year for the Chavis family, right?
Yes,
his
definitely.
brother Ryan goes on and is a big part of the defense for Massapequa, who won a 3rd consecutive Long Island Class 1 championship, an undefeated season as well. So maybe a little bit of bragging rights for him at the dinner table, and sibling rivalries being what they are.
Definitely, and you want to show out in a Senior Bowl like this, and Chavis makes a nice play, but once again, Kevin Gum on the ground, see on 2nd down with a quality run, makes it 3rd and short.
Like the size out of KJ Dillon, huh? 6'5" out of Brewster. Back to Gum, and he will push forward for the 1st down.
And once again, Anthony Brown plugging up the middle of that defensive line for St. Francis Prep, but Gum just so strong after he gets hit. Gets those yards after contact that really make a difference.
So fresh set of downs here as New York City tries to respond to that Isaac touchdown. Fake handoff, slings to the outside. That is a completed pass. Aiden Howard again out of Cardinal Hayes. A guy who came in to Hayes this year, transferred from Susquehanna Valley. Offers from Bryant and Wagner. The 6'4", 235-pound tight end.
Yeah, you can see why. It's an athletic tight end is Howard. 203 yards on the year, 15 catches, a touchdown. Again, you mentioned he transferred in. See if he ends up playing D1 football, but really talented guy, and I'm sure many schools would love to have him.
And it's the handoff again, and this time Gum unable to turn the corner.
That's another time we've seen Dominic Witt with another big hit, number 48 in that secondary. He's played well today out of St. John the Baptist. Good year for him, 73 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 2 sacks for the defensive back. And he could really lay the lumber out in that secondary.
And I think also in pursuit there, Jack Lally out of St. Francis Prep. 27 tackles and 3 for a loss for the senior out of Whitestone. Pass comes this way. That's complete. Don't have a 17 on our roster, so we do apologize for not having the name on that one.
Yeah, not sure who that is there.
I think the helmet's a St. Peter's helmet.
I think you're right about that. See if I can find a guy here. Maybe Vincent Zamato, defensive back. He might have been the wrong position here. I don't know. I'm just looking for St. Peter's guys on the roster. Can't really see through the helmet here, but it does look like an Eagle helmet.
Well, let's see. Usually we have interactive broadcasts where sometimes we get texts from those in the know. Let's see if maybe this is one of those occasions. We want to shout out the young man, of course.
Yeah, we're like WFAN here. Call in if you want to help the radio show.
And we are in the 4th quarter. That's how quickly things go here in the Senior Bowl. So the teams will switch sides for the final 15 minutes of this one. We have no question on who that is rushing the football. It's Gum going up the middle.
And we also got no question who made the tackle. Once again, Liam Traynor, number 57, had himself a nice day. Few tackles at that linebacker position in Coach Elder's defense. He's used to it.
I was so impressed with the Flyers defensively this year. And you mentioned, of course, Elder, but, you know, Jemison and Chabis up front. And, you know, you mentioned the linebackers as well. Overall, though, I think that was certainly the strength of the Chaminade team this year. Struggled a little bit offensively to put points on the board, but their defense kept them in every game.
And since Coach Calero has become the coach 2 years ago, it's really been their identity, just defense, defense, defense. And guy you didn't mention that's not playing in this game because of injury, Lucas Smith.
Yeah.
What a year he had. Last year in his junior season, played with Louis D'Agostino. That was one of the best defensive line combos on Long Island. And this year he stepped up with D'Agostino having graduated off to Syracuse playing lacrosse, and what a season he had to lead that defense.
This is a completed pass. It was Dillon with the pass, finding Howard again.
And Josiah Dodson, another big hit from a St. Francis Prep Terrier. Nice job by Dillon, good play fake. Throws it right to Howard, but Dodson is there with the big hit. But it results in a first down for Team NYC.
Yeah, but you're right. He made sure there was no yak after that one and kept Howard in his place, which is not an easy assignment. Again, we told you before, 6'4", 235 pounds. Dillon, plenty of time. That O-line did a great job. Protection, that's an incomplete pass, but we'll shout out some of those guys. Gianni Judy, I see. 53 out of Xavier, AJ Lombardi out of Monsignor Farrell.
Dillon once again on the defensive side. Josiah Dodson making another play. Good coverage on the back end, knocking that ball down. And it's second down.
Continuing on some of those guys on the line. Tommy Gibbons, what a nice-sized O-lineman he is out of Fordham, 6'4", 270 with offers from Holy Cross and Trinity as well. Second down for NYC. And it's that combination again. This time Howard does elude the tackle and pushes himself towards the 21-yard line.
What a good job by Dillon. Thomas Jemison was right in his face, but somehow He threw a sidearm pass to Howard, who leaps, makes the catch, gets around Dodson this time, and powers his way to the 22-yard line for a first down.
With the running clock being what it is, I don't know, is it too early to think maybe you go for 2 if you get in the end zone? And
you know what? You got to go out with a bang somehow, so I'm thinking yes.
And there is Gum. Look at the push as well up front. See if we can get some of those big boys, the numbers. I saw Kevin Mann out of Cardinal Hayes, number 50, helping pave the way.
A.J. Lombardi as well for the city team, number 52.
Kevin Mann, 2-year starter at Cardinal Hayes, 6 foot 255. His older brother Jaden running with the 2s at Syracuse as a freshman. C.J. O'Neill described Kevin Mann as a dog.
Always want some dogs on your team, Dylan. You can't go wrong with guys who want to compete.
You want some Gum as well, as Kevin Gum bounces it to the outside. And again, Thomas seemingly out of nothing. A big run by Kevin Gum.
He is so fast. Once he gets to the second level, you're just not going to stop him. He gets away from DJ Garcia coming from the backside and races to that far pylon, just trickles out of bounds at the 3. But what a run, makes it 1st and goal.
I don't know if he gets in the end zone again, right? In a low-scoring game, I would say he would be the odds-on favorite for offensive MVP in this one. There is Gum pushing forward inside of the 5.
Nice job by that defensive line of Team Long Island. I think that was Liam Traynor once again at the linebacker spot, stuffing that hole. Another tackle for him.
Yeah, I see Xavier Goddard as well there, 71 out of Holy Cross.
Another big guy who could plug up those holes. Really good defensive lineman for the Knights this year.
Back to Gum. Look out! A host of tacklers.
And once again, Liam Traynor blitzing through the backfield, gets right through the B-gap and says no to Kevin Gum. Doesn't want him to get another touchdown. And he's doing just fine in this Senior Bowl.
So it's now 3rd down as that clock continues to wind, approaching 9 minutes left. We think the referees might have different ideas on that. Dylan goes in the air. Incomplete. Trying to find Howard again.
And once again, that was Josiah Dodson knocking it away at the last second. Howard juggled it for a moment. I thought he had it from up here, but you see it bounced on the turf just before Howard could control possession.
Here you see it.
Yep, that hit the ground right near his feet. And the official saw that right away.
So timeout here for NYC, looking to try to tie things up or maybe even take the lead. The clock, though, continues to go on the timeout.
And you got to expect here that Team NYC is going to go for this.
And we mentioned the other two. How about we shout out Xavier, right? What a great win over St. Joe's C. St. Joe's C trying to go back-to-back as AA1 champions, but the boys from Manhattan, Xavier, getting that win.
They really dominated in the playoffs still. And just looking at these scores, Xavier 14-7 over Kellenberg. Nice offensive performance in the championship, 28 points in the semifinal, 30 points on the board and a victory.
Yeah, that was on the Rose Hill campus of Fordham University. Part of a big day for us on the Varsity Media Sports Network. You were here.
Yes, that's
AA2. I was up there with Pat Godfrey for the AA1 and AAA across the street at Hofstra. We had the Nassau County playoffs as Dylan ducks under, goes end zone, tipped, incomplete.
Talk about a game of inches. Odonis Cortez was right there. Dodson knocked it up in the air. Cortez, if he just put his arms out, might have had that. Great job by Dylan staying alive. Lobs up a prayer.
And Brody Rickert.
Wow.
What a play from the St. Anthony's senior. His future is at Towson on the lacrosse field. But Rickert, what a play to break that one up.
Unbelievable job. And Cortez might have had that if Rickert didn't get a hand on that. And now Team Long Island possibly can close this one out with a good drive here.
Yeah, they have the ball. 7:41 left, you see in the bottom of your screen. But they've got to be wary, right? You can't have any fumbles, especially here on this part of the field. It's a handoff, cutting it back the other way. Antoine Williams has a touchdown for Long Island in this one.
Dylan, you mentioned those fumbles. We've already seen 2 of them today, both by Team NYC. So you got to protect that ball if you're Williams. Down the middle, you got big defensive linemen who want to force turnovers, get their offense back the ball. Got to make sure you secure it.
You got Mo Scott. You see them number 10 there. St. John the Baptist QB back in. What is his combined yards? 20, almost 2,400 combined yards on the year from Mo Scott.
Not too bad. Pretty good.
This time Scott calls his own number, gets some nice blocks up front, turns, gets sent backwards, but I think he's got enough for the first down, and he does. Transferred in a year ago out of Riverhead High School, so he had to learn the whole different offense with the Cougars, and last year was kind of the heir apparent, and this year took over the job and did a terrific job for SJB.
And that shows from the stats. 21 total touchdowns on the year, 8 interceptions, over 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000 passing yards. Great season for him and the Cougars.
Good to see as well Christos Katrazakis in. We'll get to him in a second. Scott rolls out of pressure, and that is a completed pass, another first down. That was Hayden Mueller's at a St. Francis Prep, but Christos, a guy you know well, was a starter at the beginning of the year, suffered a broken wrist against Stepanak, was sidelined, so cool to see him in here in the Senior Bowl, a chance to go out with a win here.
Yeah, he was actually playing banged up in the Flyers postseason run with a club on that broken wrist, on the hand that he broke his wrist, so he was playing through an injury. Great to see him out there. Great center and a really awesome career for Katrakazis.
Ooh, high snap. Scott's got to jump on it. He does.
And Katrakazis, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's going to play at Franklin Marshall in the future. I think I saw that on his Instagram a few months ago.
Loss of 5 yards, 2nd and 15.
So a loss of 5 yards there. But it's Long Island with the running clock and the lead. So NYC, you got to think if it's any sort of a rush, you want to start trying to strip the ball out and force a fumble.
Yeah, definitely got to be secure with that ball if you're Team Long Island.
Pressure comes. Scott, nearly getting his hand up. That's an incompleted pass, but you saw right away what 41 in Navy was thinking.
Yeah, great job. That's Jakari Silva, the defensive guy there on the back end for Team NYC, and just a little miscommunication with Scott and Powers. They couldn't connect, and it's 3rd down.
And I think if it's the same as it was in the first half, I think once we get to 2 minutes, we'll have a clock that does stop.
We'll see here. A lot of different things going on with the clock. The officials.
So this could be a big play here, Thomas, is for the city. If you can get a stop here, you could potentially get the ball back in good field position with some time here to maybe tie it or even take the lead. That's a quick out. Spinning, turning, short, certainly, of the first down marker.
That's Sean Powers, another Chaminade Flyer playing for Coach Claro, who's the head coach for Team Long Island and the Flyers. And Powers really resurgent season after not playing a lot in his junior year. Chaminade had a lot of talent in that receiver room in his junior season, but started in his senior year, a big physical guy, can make those tough catches, and he had a really awesome year for Chaminade.
And that started in the offseason, that great weight room at Chaminade. He was a resident of it, as a little end-over-end punt, but it will take a nice bounce for the island. Look at this. That's like you've got a tee shot and you hit a line drive. Like, what a terrible shot, but it just rolls and rolls on the green.
This wind here at Mitchell Field, Coach Dillon said it a few weeks ago to me, Mitchell Field is like a wind tunnel. The wind just picks the ball up and it rolls it down and down further into the opposite side. And this time it works in favor of Team Long Island, and now Team NYC with a lot of work to do. The clock running here with 2:15 to go. We'll see if they do stop the clock at 2 minutes. Again, we're not really sure, but Team NYC nonetheless has a lot of work to do if they want to tie or take the lead in this game.
And they've got to go, 72 yards to get into the end zone here, and 2 minutes and 2 seconds. But, hey, listen, Thomas, we got what we wanted. A chance here in the last possession, last drive, to maybe win it here. Ballantyne at QB, quick out. Finds that sure hand in Howard and bounces it outside. Nice gain on first down.
Beautiful job by Nick Neri on the outside. Number 3 gets a nice quality block for Howard. Actually, I think that was Alex Houston. Yep, number 13, my mistake. See the block on the outside? Boom, right there. It frees Howard for 5 extra yards or so and moves NYC with a big chunk, and the clock does stop with 1:52 to go.
Yeah, 1st and 10 from their own 33-yard line. Twin receivers in the top and the bottom of your screen. Ballantyne, and that is dropped by Pasqualoni.
And the Team Long Island bench having some fun. They like that. Pasqualoni would have had a nice short gain there. And again, with the clock stopping here, 1:48 to go. Team NYC's got a ton of time on this drive.
So here we go. Miles Sinclair at a St. Josie. I see him at the top of the screen out wide. Look out, pressure comes in. Ballantyne does a great job ducking under it. And ooh, only white jerseys in that vicinity.
And that was Brody Rickard again in the area. Dove to his right, almost made the interception, and a dangerous pass for Ballantyne there. The clock does stop with 1:42 to go, but it is 3rd and 10 for Team NYC.
Yeah, they've got to move this football here. Long Island is like, hey, we're 2 plays away from celebrating this win. They go to Gum, up the middle. Pulled backwards. That's a good tackle.
And once again, Anthony Brown, number 66 out of St. Francis Prep. He has done an excellent job in this one for Team Long Island. And it looks like a timeout by Team NYC. They want to talk things over with a 4th and 4 coming up.
Well, if you're enjoying this sportscast, you want to maybe book a Varsity Media sportscast. Your team, your school. Listen, you know, I think we're the best in the business. I'm obviously biased in saying it, but it's an event when Varsity Media is there at your game and has that bigger feel. So listen, if you want to have your team get a Varsity Media sportscast, you can order one, you can call it up down low, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net. And if you're curious, that is in fact Ben speaking with Josh Kama. That was on the field when Kama ran for 495 yards and 7 touchdowns, breaking a Long Island record out at Oceanside earlier this year. So here we go. 4th down, the ball game. Ballantyne, quick out. No, it's incomplete. Nearly picked off. But a big stop for the Island, and they'll come away with the win here.
That was Ian Williams out of Holy Trinity, almost getting the pick, but nonetheless, a turnover for Team NYC. The Team Long Island defense comes up big in clutch time, and they get to celebrate in this Senior Bowl.
All that's left to do is apparently go to the handshake line. I thought we'd have a kneel, but not so much. That'll do it as Team Long Island celebrates the win. I saw a backflip.
They're just jumping around now. Guess they didn't plan too many celebrations because they're just jumping around, having fun. Some guy just flipped in the air in the back of that pile. A lot of fun being had here by Team Long Island.
But that's what the word, you said it perfectly there, Thomas, fun, right? And that's what all these guys had. Yeah, listen, one team wins, one team loses, and here is that celebration. All right, 16.
That's Ken Bradfield Daly. Oh, that didn't go too well. Yeah, not the most executed backflip there.
Yeah, maybe, and he's had some troubles with the celebration. He's the one who blew a tire earlier as well. So we'll take it easy on him. Maybe 7.5 maybe out of 10.
Yeah.
Right? The idea was good, the execution a little bit off, but yeah, fun. All these guys had fun here today. It's a day they'll remember, certainly, and a chance to play with some high school teammates, some guys that maybe you didn't know before who became teammates this week, but ultimately all for fun and a chance for the last time, some ever, to play a competitive football game.
Yeah, I said it at the top of the broadcast, and I'll say it again. This is just the icing on the cake of all these guys' high school careers, whether they are going on to play collegiately or not. Just a great event for them to end their high school careers as we see a nice backflip by Antoine Williams.
Antoine's like, here's how you do it, buddy.
There we go, showing off to his teammate Ken Bradfield Daly from Holy Cross. And again, just the word that we said before, fun, F-U-N. That's the most important word in sports, and boy, was this event a lot of fun today.
So they'll have an awards presentation, I believe, from previous Senior Bowls. We'll have an offensive and a defensive MVP, and I think Chris Hardut is waving it. Let's see if we can send it to the PA announcer for the announcement of these.
Player of the game for Team NYC from Monsignor Farrell, Kevin Gum. And our defensive player of the game for the city from Archbishop Stepinac, Elias Murray. And now the awards for Team Long Island. The offensive player of the game from Holy Cross, Antoine Williams. And the defensive player of the game for Team Long Island from St. Francis Prep, Anthony Brown.
And you see Thomas from the award winners there for New York City, Kevin Gum, the offensive MVP, Elias Murray from Stepinac, the defensive, and then we saw the two award winners for Team Long Island as well.
Yeah, really great performance by everyone out there. Antoine Williams had the offensive MVP for Team Long Island, and then Anthony Brown, the defensive MVP for Team LI. And just a great performance all around by all these guys. A lot of fun, some great celebrations, and a great way for these guys to end off their senior seasons.
And now they'll join together for a cool group picture, which, you know, they'll keep somewhere, I'd imagine, and to always remember this moment. But it was, in fact, a fun one here. It was fast moving, but the celebrations, they did not disappoint. Kevin Gumm bringing in on that touchdown. But a little duck, duck, goose as well for Long Island. But ultimately, it is Long Island who flipped the script on NYC, and they get the win here in the 2025 Senior Bowl. For our executive producer, Ben Turchin, our technical director, Chris Sweeney, for Kevin Catalanato, bringing you all the great moving images, for Thomas Gamba, Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us from Mitchell Athletic Complex. We look forward to seeing you on the hardwood soon on the Varsity Media Sports Network.